Last year when the Dolphins faced the Baltimore Ravens here at Hard Rock Stadium, made their offense look bad, made Lamar Jackson just look like a guy. Is there any way we can replicate that on the road this week? Please. Delayed awkward pause. Here we go. Oh, it is. It is Friday edition of the Donno Drop here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I am Alex Donno. We will be talking some Dolphins at Ravens week 2. Our Finns have a chance to go 2-0. Since I already see Big John Stud in the chat, or not Big John Stud, Brooklyn Rob. He was talking about Big John Stud. We got to get our guy Big John Stud back in the show very soon. But I already see Brooklyn Rob putting in the chat. He wants to talk about Tua and Justin Herbert. We're definitely going to talk about that. Austin Jackson on IR. There's a lot to get to, my friends. But before we dive in, and we're going to be talking with Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com, our pal, one of our betting experts. You guys call me the mush. Lee Sterling is not a mush. Lee Sterling does this for a living when it comes to breaking down odds, betting, giving out betting advice. He is an actual professional. I just play one on YouTube. But Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com is going to join us at about 2:45. We're going to talk Dolphins, Ravens with him. We'll get his pick for Miami Hurricanes at Texas A&M, where, the line earlier this week was Miami plus 5.5. Now I've seen it move up to 6.5. I think people think the Aggies switching quarterbacks from Haynes King, who was dreadful the first 2 games, to Max Johnson, who I was surprised didn't beat Haynes King out in training camp. I don't know what that says about Max, but I think people seem to think that's a positive change. Plus, Miami is going to be without Xavier Restrepo for this game and for potentially several weeks. So it's 6.5 now. So if you do want to bet on the Hurricanes, you're going to get a better number on it today than you got yesterday and the day before. So welcome in. I'm a little bit upset. A little bit upset that my guy Justin Herbert threw a pick 6 yesterday. You know what a big fan I am of him. Brooklyn Robs writes in Justin Herbert 16-18 as a starter. Tua 16-8. Facts don't lie. Yeah, listen, it's winning to me is a team stat. Like, people seem to make it an individual stat for quarterbacks or certain players when they see fit. But he's right. You cannot argue. That is a fact. Tua is 16-8. Justin Herbert is 16-18. The facts are on your side on that one, Brooklyn Rob. And, I definitely want to see Tua continue to pile up the wins. I'd love to see Tua and the Dolphins defense and Mike McDaniel, who I'm a huge fan of, go into Baltimore this weekend and come out with a dub, right? To make it 2 straight victories over the Baltimore Ravens in 2 straight years. I would love nothing more than that. Going back to last week's victory over the New England Patriots, which it was a complete team performance. It really was. Defense was spectacular. Mike McDaniel said it. He told his players before that game, this is the defense's team until proven otherwise. That has not been proven otherwise yet. This is still the defense's team. Especially, I thought Brandon Jones probably had the best week on D. 11 tackles, forced the fumble that led to the Melvin Ingram touchdown. You saw the way that my guys X and Javon Holland collaborated for that interception. That Javon ended up being the one taking it back after kind of the assist from Xavier Howard tapping it up to him. But I thought that it's crazy. Oh, and hello, TD Fins Talk. Hello, everyone. Hello, Martina. Last week's victory over the Pats, that was just the perfect Tua Tagovailoa performance to continue the narratives and continue the fighting among the fan base, right? Because he definitely missed some throws and missed some reads out there. But he also did make some plays, and his playmakers made some plays, guys. I mean, you literally had Tyreek Hill out there stealing an interception from a defensive back. I do give Tua credit for the throw that he made and the timing of that throw to Jalen Waddle on that fourth down, which was an awesome play call, ballsy play call by Mike McDaniel, and it led to a long touchdown. So I give Tua credit for that. But I thought last week was the perfect game for the narratives because the Dolphins got the dub, even though the quarterback didn't grade out that well. I thought he left some throws on the field, okay? And yet the Dolphins got the dub. So that gets the Tua stands all excited, like Brooklyn Rob putting out the record. Tua is 16-8 as a starter because the Tua stands who don't seem to care if he's good or average or not good, as long as the team gets wins, they will still continue to hype up the guy as if he's the reason that they're getting all those wins. But the Dolphins did win, and he did make some throws, and yet he wasn't, didn't grade out as one of the better quarterbacks of the week. So that was like the perfect Tua performance to continue the arguing between the Tua haters and Tua Tua-neers, Tua stands, whatever you want to call it, because, it wasn't a convincing performance, but it was a W. And man, the fighting over Tua, it's crazy because sometimes I just have to take a step back. I will admit I enjoy the chaos. You might find this surprising because I talk about sports for a living, but I don't take sports as seriously as some of you do. Like, some of you will argue about your starting quarterback and about your sports team. And keep in mind, these are all alleged Dolphin fans who are fighting with each other instead of fighting with other fan bases. Like, some of you take your sports and your quarterbacking as seriously as people take things like politics and religion. Like, this is like wars in the Middle East have been started for less than the way that some of you talk about Tua Tagovailoa. So it's like, wow, you have to sit back and see these wars rage on. So, like, obviously the Tua fans were all excited about, the numbers that he put up. Was it 270 some passing yards last week, and the efficiency was good. No interceptions. Thank you, Tyreek Hill, for making sure that didn't happen. So the Tua fans were all pumped up. And then the Pro Football Focus grades come out, and somehow Mac Jones actually graded out higher than Tua, which, listen, man, the stat geeks will tell you one thing. The eye test didn't tell me that Mac Jones was the better quarterback on the field last week. I'm not a big Mac Jones fan. Okay. So the eye test told me something differently, but the Pro Football Focus grade was not that good for Tua. Then people start watching the All 22, and they break it down like it's the Zapruder film. And missed a lot of open looks in that, missed some receivers downfield in that, just didn't make certain reads. And then you've got, again, now you have people like, oh, the film is garbage. The angles, very deceiving. They were trying to make Tua look bad out there. That cameraman should be deported or should be hung. Firing squad for this guy. They're trying to make Tua look bad. Oh, and yeah, TD points out Mac had no open receivers. Tua did. Listen, I still, for what it's worth, I'm still not that excited about Mac Jones's NFL prospects. But the Dolphins definitely have a better roster, TD, because one of my big takeaways from watching that game, and this is a compliment to Chris Greer, it's a compliment to the Dolphins front office. It's also, I think, a compliment to especially the defensive coaching staff, because there's continuity there. We're yet to really see what the offensive coaching staff can do, because we haven't seen the proof in the pudding for that yet. But the defensive coaching staff, you looked at just those two teams, more than just quarterback, all the way down the roster. Miami Dolphins, they look like a team that's going to compete for a playoff spot. The New England Patriots look like the type of team that may win 4 or 5 games this year. Like, I really don't think they look that impressive. And I think if you look at the lack of success that Bill Belichick has had drafting players in recent years, you're seeing the proof of that on the field. I don't think the New England Patriots are that talented of a team this year. The Dolphins go up against a much more talented team this week, taking on the Baltimore Ravens, taking on Lamar Jackson, who the Dolphins last year at Hard Rock Stadium, night game, the crowd was awesome for that game last year. They were able to completely stifle Lamar, and they kind of set the blueprint for how other teams would attack him later on in the season. And hey, I mentioned that defensive continuity with Josh Boyer and the defensive coaching staff pretty much still in place from last year. Most of the same personnel. I think the Dolphins defensive personnel probably gotten even a little bit better when you have a guy like Melvin Ingram, who just scored a touchdown last week, a defensive touchdown. You have to wonder if they can duplicate or replicate some of that success that they had last season. Now, the Dolphins are a 3.5-point underdog in the game. And whenever I see for an NFL line, whenever I see 3.5, I start to sweat. I don't know what to do with it because like 3 is like the magic number. Most of these NFL games get decided for one team or the other by about 3 points. So when I see 3.5, maybe I look at that as a Dolphin fan and I say, hey, this might be an opportunity here to bet on the Dolphins to cover that 3.5. Or if you're really thinking about betting on the Baltimore Ravens, you might be panicking a little bit seeing a number like 3.5 because most of these games are decided in the NFL by 3 points. That's like the most critical number. So that's why on these Fridays, when we start talking about opportunities we have to make some money on these games, it's why we like to bring in Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports, who's going to join us in a couple of minutes. And guys, I want to remind you, we have an awesome betting sponsor here on the Donno Drop and on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, and that is betteredge.com. Let me see if I can find the banner here because we have a referral link. Hopefully you guys remember this if I tell it to you, because I think I'm going to have to write a new version of the link, but it's betteredge.com/5 reasons, and they're going to give you a $20 sign-up bonus, $20 free in your account. All right, so let's bring on here the man, the myth, the legend himself, Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Lee, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm fired up. I'm heading out in a couple hours to the airport. I'm going to support the Canes, going to College Station.
Good for you.
Yeah. I've actually, I was actually born in Abilene and went to school at Southwest Texas State, now Texas State, and then the University of Texas. Never been to College Station before. So
yeah, wow, neither have I.
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
And if I wasn't going for a college football game, I wouldn't go there. But I hear just great things about it. So I'm excited to go and support the Canes, and hopefully we can pull off the shocker.
Well, yeah, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think the last I looked at it, Miami are now 6.5-point underdogs. Maybe I'm a half point off on that. You let me know. But like the events of the last 24 hours, Xavier Restrepo, it's been the worst kept secret that he's injured. Doesn't look like he's going to play. And then Texas A&M makes a quarterback change. I find it hard to believe Max Johnson is not going to be better than Haynes King was, who was terrible. So do you think that's caused the line to move, those changes?
Your son would be better than Haynes King. I watched the spring game, and I'm like, okay, Max Johnson's the best of the 3 quarterbacks. I was shocked that Haynes King was named the starter. Now, they might say he has the most potential, but I mean, if you watch the spring game, you watch the first 2 games, his pocket presence isn't there. He is not adept at reading coverages. And, maybe he was hoping that he would take off and do well. And then if he ever needed to bring in Max Johnson, as the experienced veteran off the bench in a game, he could do that. But I think he's desperate. And what he's saying is he messed up. He picked the wrong guy. Now, I would have liked it a lot better if Texas A&M had won last week.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe Miami could kind of sneak into town and catch A&M feeling really good about themselves, grab like a 10-0, 14-0 lead, and then shock them. There's not going to be that factor. The only thing that can happen is we can take the lead, I think, and put some doubt in their minds. And I think you're going to see Miami be aggressive. They have not shown almost anything. I mean, on offense, they've been vanilla. On defense, shown very few blitzes. They haven't had to. I like that game plan, but I still think Miami's defense is not there. Both their linebackers, not up to championship level in coverage and tackling, and also 2 of their 3 defensive backs, cornerbacks, are just, I don't think, good enough. DJ Ivy and Corey Couch. So I hate to say it. If I had to pick a side, I'd go with A&M here, 27-20.
Well, we started things out on a bummer of a note, but Let's segue to the Dolphins then, Lee.
Sorry.
And
I hope
and
I'm
no, no,
wrong.
I hope. Well, and listen, actually, to be fair, because I had to log an official prediction on Sports Illustrated for the game, and I did pick Texas A&M to win by 3 points. But
Okay.
um, also, as Brooklyn Rob knows, no one should ever trust my predictions because I'm so aware of my mushing powers that I'm
Right.
trying to do a reverse mush.
I
That
like that.
I'm too
You should.
superstitious. Like if I'm gonna log an official
Yeah.
prediction for a big
Right.
game like this
Right.
that's gonna be on a major publication, I'm not gonna pick Miami because I'm totally gonna mush them. So of
Here's
course I
what you
picked
should have
Texas
done,
A&M.
Alex. You should have predicted Texas A&M 31-7.
Yeah, I should
And
have.
then Miami wins wire to wire. You know how that works.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I am
I
not,
should have done that.
for full disclosure reason, I'm not betting the game. I'm not giving to my clients. The worst part, and you know this from wagering, if you
Mhm.
have a favorite team and let's say you bet the other side, is if like A&M would win and they would only win by 3 points. So you're
Oh,
miserable, your team lost,
yeah.
and then you don't cover the other wager. If you're going to mush a game, you want the game to be, like a pick 'em. But
Right.
I think it's exciting, though. I do think both teams down the road are going to be very good. I think Miami's going to improve a lot. If Miami can control their offensive line, can control their defensive line, you'll be able to tell that within a couple series. I might live bet this game. So if Miami's offensive line looks good, and even if they take a 7-0 lead and they move down the field, I might put some money on the Canes.
Okay, so before I get your pick for the Miami Dolphins at the Baltimore Ravens, I would love to get your assessment of Tua because before you came on, I was just saying to our viewers here that I thought last week's performance was it was the perfect Tua performance to keep the narrative going of all the Dolphin fans arguing, right? Because
Right.
like the Dolphins won the game. And then, like the super crazy Tua fans, like they just count wins. Like they don't care
Right.
what his stats look like. Oh, he's a winner. He's 16-8 as a starter.
Right.
And listen, his playmakers made some plays. I thought it was a
Right.
great connection between him and Waddle for the
Yeah.
touchdown. Tyreek Hill was excellent in the game. But it wasn't that convincing of a quarterbacking performance. So the debate just rages on. How did you evaluate his performance against New England?
On a scale of grading it from A to F, I would put it at a B-.
Okay, it's pretty good.
I thought he was decent. Didn't make any real mistakes. Now, if you want to dare to be great, you got to be better. If you want to win some playoff games, you got to play at a higher level. It bothers me to watch the Chargers, to see what they ended up getting and we didn't pick. I mean, it was every game, and that's going to go on for another decade. And I was one of these guys. I stayed up and watched the Ducks when he played there for the Oregon Ducks, and I just thought he was the guy. I just didn't believe the hype and didn't want to buy into it, and I just don't know how we missed.
Yeah, no, I understand. So with that said, looking at this game and like how much do you take into account what happened last year, or do you throw it out? Dolphins at Ravens, and Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite.
Ravens were decimated with injuries. I mean, their defensive secondary last year was, and even along like a linebacker. I mean, I'd never seen a team the last couple of years injured more than they were. It's one game. Yeah, I think you have to look more at the matchups this year. Now, some people are saying that the Ravens have some real problems on the offensive line without Ronnie Stanley. I think their backups are actually pretty good. They got a kid named Patrick McCarry. He fills in at every position along the line. I don't know whether he's going to play left tackle, and he has before, but he grades out in the top 20, 25% whenever he plays. Never bottom third, bottom quarter. So whether they put him at left tackle or right guard and move someone else out there, I think Baltimore is going to be fine. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think that Lamar Jackson maybe running the ball might be the difference here. We do have trouble with real good tight ends. Andrews could end up with 5, 6, 7 catches, and they're playing in Baltimore on the road, always a little tougher. You get a few more penalties, procedure penalties. You know how that goes. I like Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson is going to run for 70, 80 yards here. I think he kept it under wraps last week, wanted to show he was a passer after he turned down that contract. I think he lets it go. Anything can happen. They can turn the ball over a bunch, but if I had to wager on the game, I would take Baltimore. I hate to say it. I'm going against Miami, another Dolphins, Miami team here. I like Ravens here, 27-17.
So, everybody with the Dolphins, they talk about, these first 4 games, right? And I don't think the Patriots are as good as some people thought they'd be preseason,
Right.
but the Dolphins got that first win. So with Baltimore this week, Buffalo after that, and Cincinnati the following week, like what do you think? Are they going to come away from these 4 games 2-2, 1-3, 3-1? How do you think they come out of these first 4?
Probably 2-2. If they come out 2-2, I think they'll be fine. I mean, these are they got to win one of the next 3 games. They can't be 1-3. And if they can somehow win this game, then they're playing with house money. It's like when you go in, you play some blackjack and you start playing $25, $50, and you're up like 12 to 1,500. You put like 500, you stick 500 in chips in your pocket. You've been there before. So
too many times.
Game. I think they play aggressive. You got to take some shots down. When you've got Waddle and Hill, take some shots. I mean, Hill and Waddle catching those, those flanker screens are great, but and they can turn, 2-3 yard gains into 20-25 yard gains, but take some shots. The Ravens safeties, the cornerbacks are good, but their safeties are susceptible to some big plays. Make them make some plays on the ball.
Joined here by Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com. Are there any other games you like for this weekend, games or fights you want to let our audience know about?
Let's start off with a fight, a UFC fight. Like Pat Sabatini, doesn't have a nickname. He's 17-3, fighting Damon. I mean, is this the most boring nickname? Damon Action Jackson. Everyone has the last name.
Every Jackson. Yeah.
Wow.
I
don't like that.
There's one fighter, and you've probably watched him before. I called some of his fights when he was like coming up. His last name was Jason Jackson, but he went by Jason, or he goes by still the ass kicking machine.
Okay,
Jackson.
okay.
I was like, I can respect that. You're not action like everybody else.
Right. So I think that Sabatini is just tougher. Comes from Philly. Most people come from Philly. They aren't going to back down from a fight. Really good grappler and better cardio. If it's close after the first round, he will wear Jackson out, striking, and I think he'll take him down and grapple him. I don't know if he's going to finish him, but I think he's going to dominate this fight. He might win all 3 rounds if it goes the distance. I'd lay the 175, 180 here. Sabatini, I think easy win. That's my UFC selection I want to hand out. Now, football here, I like, believe it or not, Penn State on the road, laying 3 at Auburn. Penn State's defense, I think the way to attack them, you have to either have a really good passing attack like Purdue, first game, or you have to have a really good running attack like Michigan State last year with Kenneth Walker. I don't think Auburn has either. They ranked 57th in rushing, and they played Mercer and San Jose State, which are that's like being in 2 pillowcase fight games. And I don't think their quarterback, TJ Finley, is any good either. I think he's going to be replaced. He might get replaced in this game or in the next couple of weeks. So I like Penn State laying the small spot -3. I think they've improved a lot more since that game last year. And I actually think Finley is a downgrade over Bo Nix. Tough to say that, but think he's a downgrade. And give me Kansas Jayhawks for the first time in a long time. They're 2-0. They're playing the University of Houston. So Houston's off 2 overtime games, and just don't think that their offense is great. Not as explosive as years past. They need to get some turnovers, and think that their coach, Leipold, he might end up being a guy that turns this program around. They haven't done anything in over a decade here. They took it. They won that game last week. They dominated that game. That game that they won last week should not have gone into overtime. I like Kansas plus the 9.5 to 10. I could see them winning outright. Then in the NFL, probably look at New England. I think they're going to bounce back in this game. So when I look at this New England team against Pittsburgh's offensive line to me is bottom 2, bottom 3 in the NFL. They had a 5-0 turnover advantage, and they almost lost the game. if they don't block that extra point.
That's right.
Not that Trubinsky was terrible. I just don't think they can protect the quarterback. I don't think they can open up holes for Harris. He may not last through his first contract. He's going to get beaten up so bad. And I think Max Jones will be able to do some damage without TJ Watt. I like New England minus a small spot over the Steelers.
Before we let you run, I want to ask you, do you like Thursday Night Football being on Amazon Prime? Because I don't mind. Like, I think it's weird. Like, Kirk Herbstreit seems out of place. And
Yeah.
I guess some people were having like glitching issues or freezing issues, but I don't. Yeah.
Freezing issues. I had problems. The picture wasn't clear. Did you have that?
Yes,
happen?
I did as well. And I didn't know if that was like my internet. I didn't know. I didn't know what the deal was there. So was that
and
happening
I'm sitting
to everybody?
there. I'm thinking like I'm watching like cable TV like 30 years ago.
I
mean,
they probably had so much traffic that like they weren't ready for it.
And their ratings, from what I'm hearing, the initial ratings, I think they were projecting 12 million, hoping for 12 million. I think they got only 6 million people. And Jeff Bezos is holding on to his girlfriend's hand. I mean, not a Bezos fan. He grew up 2 houses down from where I live.
Really?
Yeah. So Buddha, thumbs down to the the whole broadcast. I didn't think it was very good. And to be able to, I want to watch a game, hey, you got to pay for it if you want the red zone, if you want the Sunday ticket, but I'd rather pay a little bit more. I'm just different and watch it in high quality and just, like I said, I just thought the broadcast was off a little bit too. So entertaining game. I mean, a pick six pretty much determined the game, but I was not a fan of the broadcast at all.
Yeah, and I hate it because I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan, so I hated the fact that he threw a pick six because it doesn't help my case at all. It doesn't help my case with these crazy Tua fans. But Lee Sterling, let people know on the way out, ParamountSports.com what they can find this week.
Okay, so we had a 6-3 Saturday and Sunday weekend last weekend. I found 13 games this weekend, so I find a lot of games once or twice a year. I have what's called my Baker's Dozen. It's 13 games from Saturday, 12 noon, all the way till Sunday night. And you don't have to pay $297 or even $197, just $97. So less than $100 bill. You're going to get action the entire weekend. And we've had some 12-1, 11-2, 10-3 records on this Baker's Dozen promotion. So nice way to build the bankroll. And if you're happy, you can roll it into a monthly or season package with me. You can buy the UFC. Got a huge 75 unit selection going in the UFC. You'll get that. We'll send that to you, Alex.
Thank you.
Gratis on me. And then also baseball. We've won over 30 more games than we've lost, and we generally go with underdogs in baseball. Just a couple weeks before the baseball playoffs start. So check out all the specials at Baker's Dozen. 13 games, like I said, just $97. And as soon as you purchase it, a window pops open with all 13 games. So you don't have to call back Saturday or Sunday morning. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
I love it. Lee Sterling, thank you so much. And make sure you follow him on Twitter as well at Paramount Sports. Have an awesome weekend.
Okay. Thanks. See you, Alex. Have a great weekend.
Love it. Great weekend to Lee. Man, that's awesome. And I'm so glad he does so well in baseball because this won't surprise some of you. I've not had a lot of success on my own betting on baseball. I do a lot better when I'm taking those picks from ParamountSports.com. And guys, I want to talk about the really the best and most unique place to place those bets of yours, and that is at betteredge.com. Look at the scroll down below me. You see that link? Better, BETTOR edge.com/5 reasons. When you sign up using our referral link down below, they're going to hook you up with $20 just for signing up. What makes Better Edge unique, because a lot of you out there, when we've talked in the past about some of the offshore operations, you're worried about, sending your money overseas. You're worried about how easy it is to take your money out because it's like, not necessarily legal or illegal. BetterEdge.com is different, completely legal in the state of Florida and in 45 out of 50 states in this great country of ours. And the reason why it's completely legal is this is social. You are making bets peer to peer. There's no house. There's no casino. There's no big sports book running this thing. They make their money on the website through advertisements on the site. So anytime you take a number, and you can pick your own number. If you don't like Dolphins plus 3.5 and you'd rather bet Dolphins plus 5.5, you can bet that number, get somebody else on the end of it. You can make your own alternative line, and there's no fees. There's no juice. Like, you don't have to bet minus 110, meaning if you bet $100, you don't win a full 100 back. That's not the way it goes at Better Edge. There's no juice because there's no big casino running it, and it's completely legal, very easy to deposit, very easy to withdraw. None of that red tape. It's not an overseas operation. It's in the US of A. So check it out. And I'm telling you guys, you're going to love it. I know some of our viewers have already been using Better Edge. We're getting great reviews. BetterEdge.com/5reasons. My guy, Shake Money, thank you so much for the super chat. Donno, thanks for great content as always. Enjoy your coffee on Monday. Gators, we'd be back on in the top 15 again. You know when I'm going to enjoy my coffee. And thank you so much, because I will put that $5 to use getting some more Cafe Bustelo. Thank you so much, Shake. But when I'm going to need that coffee is on Sunday morning, because I'm going to be doing the post-game show for Hurricanes at Texas A&M on Saturday night on WQAM. We're not going to be signing off till 3 a.m. on Saturday night / Sunday morning. And, no matter what time I go to bed, I don't think I can sleep past 7 or 8 a.m. anyway. So I'm not going to be getting a whole lot of sleep on Saturday night. I'm going to be drowning in cafecito on Sunday. So, Shake, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I love how TD Finn's talk is getting heckled in the chat. He was in here earlier. Dude, TD is the man. You guys, don't be sensitive. I'm not sensitive to either side. When I see the Tua stands and the Tua haters, they can both be ridiculous. And don't think I take the side of the Tua haters. Some of them are insane, like insane. Okay, I laugh a little bit at both sides, but I love it. Perfect Q. Hello, welcome in. 72 Finn's logo, which is the best logo. Canes will be back in a year or two when Cristobal has finished his wall of South Florida. Oh, you're not kidding. But the thing is, like, if Miami can put on the Hurricanes I'm talking about here for a second, if they can put on an impressive performance this weekend, you're going to get even more offensive linemen wanting to come play here, like Samson Okunlola, 5-star offensive tackle who Miami's been pursuing. They already have a 5-star in that class, Francis Mauigoa, who's a freaking monster, but they want to get another monster on that line, and a win would go a long way. So thank you, 72 Finn's logo. Thank you, Shake. Thank you, Perfect Q. Thank you, Mr. Matt. He says, watched Herbert last night talk about running screens and dump offs constantly before the injury. He's definitely bigger and stronger, but I don't think we made a mistake passing on him. I think we did, but we'll see. Martina says Ravens are surely going to be ready for that zero blitz. Yeah, they're going to be ready for what the Dolphins did last year, I think. And hello to Brooklyn Rob. Hello for getting in here. All right, my friends, thank you so much for supporting the show. If you can leave us a super chat like Shake Money did, it's always open, the tip jar. If not, no worries. The live chat is free. It's whether you choose to leave a tip or not. Make sure you check out betteredge.com/5reasons. And let's get ready for a huge football weekend. Dolphins at Ravens Sunday, Hurricanes at Aggies Saturday. And yeah, we will talk to you guys again Monday. Remember, on Mondays how we do it. The new extra yard. Me and Troy Stratford around 3 p.m. I say around 3 p.m. because I'm waiting for somebody to come in and do some work on my house, and I'm hoping they're done by 3. If they're not, maybe we'll go live at 3:15, 3:30, but we're shooting for 3 p.m. Oh, Devin Jordan, thank you so much. Says Donno, I'm taking a bold bet, and I'm taking both Miami teams on the money line this weekend. Are you doing that? Now, Devin, do you have the balls to do that in a parlay where they both have to win? Or are you just betting? I'm guessing you're betting the 2 individual games, which is probably because, if you win one of them, then you're going to be in the money because they're both underdogs. So you're in the plus money there. But if you had some real balls, Devin, you take them in a parlay where you get like 10-1 return on that. I'm terrible at math, but I think it'd be somewhere around there. But thank you so much for the super chat, Devin. Thanks, Brooklyn Rob, for getting it. All right, we will talk to you guys again Monday here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.